So in this video, I want to make a Clay guide for agencies. And when it comes to Clay, I sort of have the perspective that it's like an 80-20 rule. If you understand 20% of the functionalities of Clay, you can have 80% of the benefits. And so I'm just going to show the most valuable things that you can do inside Clay. And I think that is going to be sufficient for you to drastically improve your cold outreach campaigns for your agency with this Clay guide here. So what I will show is, first of all, how to find a list of people that fit your ICP, how to use AI to determine if they're qualified, and how to find their business email addresses. So this is just list building inside of Clay and using AI to pre-qualify them, make sure that every lead on that list is qualified. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to open up Clay. And this is the first screen you're going to see, and you're going to click on New, and then you're going to click on Workbook. So you're going to create a workbook. And then what you're going to see here is you have a few different options that you can choose. Now, what we want to go ahead and do here is find people. This is the section we're going to use here. Now, if you already have an existing list that you want to use in here, you can also do import from CSV. So, for example, I have an Apollo guide on my YouTube channel, how to get leads from Apollo. So if you have your Apollo lead list, you can use the import from CSV function to import that file into Clay and then continue your data enrichment from there. So now I'm going to hop inside the tool and I'm going to show you the steps from there. So now we are inside of Clay here, and I'm going to go to find people. So we have different options here that we can choose. And so the first one is company attributes. This is where you can choose the industry, industries to exclude, company size, keywords to include. So what you want to keep in mind here is that you can choose an industry, but it's not going to be super accurate. And the reason for that is that basically uses, like, this is basically data from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And so the data here is not going to be totally accurate. It's going to be self-reported by the people in this data set. So that's why we go through this whole motion of AI pre-qualification that I'm going to get to, where we have an AI agent look through all the websites of the companies to determine if they're actually a fit to work with you. But yeah, these are the options you have on the company attributes side of things. The next one is the job title. And so I use this one here. I don't use seniority or job functions. I use this one here, job title. So what you can choose here is you can do is similar to, contains, is exactly, right? So you can put in different roles here. Let's say we want to put in CEO. And so we'll get CEOs over here in the preview. And so yeah, this is what you can choose. Similar to, it will basically spit out roles that are that look like CEO. So that could be, chief executive officer, which is basically just a different way to say it, founder and CEO. So this is one feature you can do. You can also do contains. So it's going to show every single title that contains exactly that word. And then you can do is exactly. So here I'm only going to get CEO, where it's spelled like this, right? So this is one way where you can basically make sure that you're not limiting your search too much, but you also want to be careful that you're not getting a bunch of junk, because sometimes if you put contains, well, it could technically put assistant of CEO on this list, which is not qualified. So just got to be a bit careful with that, how you choose your job titles here. You can also exclude specific job titles as well. Now the next one is experience. So the number of months that they've been in their current role. If you want to use that as sort of a targeting data point. Also location, of course. Profile. You can something about their profile here, headline, keywords, etc. Next one, we have certifications. We have languages, education, companies. So this is where you can basically choose a list of companies and then find people within those companies. Exclude people, past experiences. And so, yeah, this is basically what you have at your disposal here to craft your list. So I'm going to, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to find some accounting firms and I'm going to put in the filters, and then I'm going to click continue and then import to new table, and I'm going to show you the result. So here is what it gave me. We have a list here of different accounting firms. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pre-qualify them with AI. And I've actually already done this here. So I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So the first thing that I did was I went to actions and I went to Clayagent. So Clayagent is their AI web researcher. And basically what you can do here is you can open it, you can create a prompt, and you can use variables from the list. So we can input different variables here. You can see you can put in company name, you can put in first name, right? So you can put in variables once you write this stuff here. So it's going to become unique for each different prospect on the list. This one here is basically where you just say what you want in natural language and it creates the prompt for you. This one here is where you can actually manually just say your prompts on whatever you want it to be. And it's really important that you choose the right model. You don't want to use, for example, Argon here. You want to find one that is something like ChatGPT 4o Mini, because it's not going to be that expensive when it comes to the Clay credits. Actually, you should definitely connect your API key. So what you can do is you can go into OpenAI's settings tab. You can find your API key and paste it in here, and then you can just use your own API. And that's going to be a lot more cheap than using Clay credits for this purpose. But yeah, so I'm going to show you the prompts that I created here. So yep, it's pretty long here. It's created by the AI, so I just use that feature. It's a very long prompt, and the purpose of the prompt is to basically look at their website and then output a bunch of information about what they do, and then basically it will give a response. Let's see here. So this one here, we can see some reasoning. The company is a training and technology platform focusing on empowering accounting professionals. Company overview is going to tell us something about the company. So we want to create two different prompts here. We don't want the first prompt to also do the qualification, right? So this is what you want to do. You want to have one data collection prompt, and then you want to have one execution prompt, which is basically going to be the prompts that actually does the qualification, which is the next one I've created here. So let's take a look at this one, right? So this one basically takes the variables that we created from the first column here, the first prompt, and it uses that to output a yes or a no. So we see a yes meaning it is in fact an accounting firm, no meaning it is not an accounting firm. And what we can see here is it spit out a bunch of answers. Now, the one I showed just a moment ago was a training company. It was not actually an accounting firm, and it actually said no to that. So it goes to show that this stuff actually works, and it's going to help you remove some of the ones that aren't qualified. Now, if we go to this one that was a yes, let's see what this says. So the services listed, such as tax planning, tax preparation, and monthly accounting, right? So this one is qualified and it got a yes. So again, this actually just helped us remove unqualified leads from the list. And what that's going to do is it's going to increase your positive reply rates. It's also going to make sure that you don't get as many manual spam reports because your outreach is more relevant. And when that happens, your deliverability is better. So there are numerous benefits to doing something like this. And keep in mind, I actually put in accounting as an industry filter. And as you can see here, it's spitting out a bunch of no's. So you got to be very careful about trusting these different filters that they have. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to find their email addresses so you can start sending them emails. So if we go here, we can put in a work email, and you're going to click on this one here. Now, what this is going to do is it is going to look at the variables you have, and it's going to use different data providers that are integrated with Clay, and it's going to find their email address. So the way it works is basically a waterfall system. So it checks the first provider. If the first data provider doesn't have the email, it goes to the next one. If that data provider doesn't have the email, it goes to the next one. So it's a very smart system where you can sort of get through multiple different databases until you eventually find their email address. I'm just gonna remove that. So yeah, we have some data points here. We have full name, company, domain, company name, LinkedIn profile. And what we're gonna do is you can just do the quick setup, but I actually like to go in here and I like to put lead magic as the first one since it has a lower cost. I'm not gonna use my API key for that one. So yeah, and then what we can do is we can go down to save and we can run 10 rows. So let's see what we get out of this. So what we can see now is it has started to output the email addresses. And I'm just going to make the tab a bit smaller here so that we don't show the email addresses. But what you want to go ahead and do is you're spending either Clay credits or if you have API keys for each of these tools here that you're using, you're obviously spending money. You're spending Clay credits. So what you want to go ahead and do is go into edit column and you want to go down to, let's just go in here. You want to go down here, only run if. So this is basically, we only want it to run if the answer is yes to the qualification question. So you want to go to use AI and then say only run if, and we're going to find this one here. And response is equal to yes. And generate formula. So we're going to go ahead and put output is correct, say formula. And then we're going to try to run it again. And as we can see now, it is not running for the ones where it says no. So we just saved ourselves some money and some credits. Now, what you want to go ahead and do after this is go to Actions, and you want to go to Export and Download as a CSV file. What you want to go ahead and do is just use your favorite email verification tool. I use Million Verifier. You want to put the CSV file into Million Verifier. You want to take the valid ones and you want to upload them into your sending automation tool, and you're ready to go. So I hope this video was helpful. If you want to work with Scale Sprints, we are an outreach consultancy, and we work with agencies to basically build out their entire cold email system. You can check out the link in the description. There's also going to be a link to the 7 best performing agency copies we've ever written. You'll get direct access to them for free, so you can check that out. But yeah, thanks for watching and have